What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to the next video in my class series for all the classes moving from vanilla into the Burning Crusade Classic. Today's video, we're going to be talking about the Mage, right? We're going to talk about all the changes moving from vanilla into TBC, how each specialization performs in PvE and in PvP, some strengths, some weaknesses, and how each spec just generally feels to play. So if you're interested in finding out that stuff about the Mage, this is going to be the video for you. Drop it a like and let's continue. We are going to talk about all of the changes from vanilla into TBC before we get into each spec. So TBC polishes the Mage experience with a bunch of new tools, talents, and some balancing tweaks, right? We have new abilities coming to the Mage like Invisibility, Spell Steal, Arcane Blast, which is now giving Arcane spec a nice rotation, Ice Lance, and Molten Armor. Evocation has been buffed. It gives you 60% mana restored baseline and no longer is talent dependent. Arcane Focus has been reworked, which makes early arcane builds actually viable. Spell hit cap has been lowered to 16%, making gearing a little bit easier. And you get overall just some better improved itemization for the Mage class, right? You're going to have more spell power gear, better trinkets, and mana regen options, which, if you're playing Arcane Mage, are going to be pretty damn important. So overall, mages gain a ton of flexibility, survivability, and mana control in the Burning Crusade, and they're no longer just that glass cannon that you know and love from vanilla WoW. So for the next part of the video, we're going to talk about our Arcane Mage, right? We're going to start off with PvE DPS. Arcane Mages finally become a real rating spec in the Burning Crusade. Their core rotation is just an Arcane Blast spam. I'm not kidding. You are just spamming Arcane Blast. You're going to use Arcane Missiles from time to time. You're going to pop your Mana Gem from time to time and Evocation. So you're going to do a little bit of mana management with your Mana Gem, Mana Pots, and Evocation. But for the most part, you are spamming Arcane Blast and hitting Arcane Missiles. Your damage ramps up fast, but drains your mana extremely quickly, right? You're going to want those innervates from your druids. So it's kind of like a high risk and high reward playstyle. If you become good at it and you're really good at managing your mana, Arcane Mage really starts to pump later on in the expansion. You get Arcane Power and Presence of Mind, which give you these huge burst windows, right? These are going to be your cooldowns to pop. Our Presence of Mind gives you an instant cast. Arcane Power just boosts your damage like crazy. So you're going to manage your cooldowns, you're going to manage your mana, and basically spam Arcane Blast. You shine in shorter fights with heavy mana support from Shadow Priests, Shamans, and like I said, those innervates. You get incredible burst damage potential with proper cooldown syncs. If you're popping your trinkets and your Arcane Power and Presence of Mind at the right times, Arcane Mage is one of the top DPS specs, especially towards the latter half of the expansion. As for PvP, Arcane Mage is not the best class to play in PvP. You're more going to be leaning towards Frost, especially if you're new to the Mage class, but you do have a strong counter spell, you have slows, you have some mobility tools, you got that CC that a Mage has, and you can be pretty bursty. You can make it work. I wouldn't suggest playing Arcane Mage in PvP if you're new to Mage. I would stick to Frost Mage, but you can do it. So in summary for Arcane Mage, PvE, you're burst orientated with a very high mana management skill ceiling. You really do need to control your mana well to play Arcane Mage and be a top DPS. If you're someone who is just not really understanding what you're doing and you're just blasting, you're going to go pretty quick and you're not going to perform that well. For PvP, again, you can do it. It's that bursty playstyle with your normal Mage CC. You get slow. You could do a lot of damage, but you are very squishy compared to a Frost Mage. This is going to be for those players who love aggressive, calculated damage windows in Raid and maybe just glass cannon type of playstyle in PvP. As for our Fire Mages, we're going to start off talking about PvE DPS, right? Fire is the king of sustained raid DPS once you hit higher gear levels. It scales incredibly well with crit and spell power. You get Ignite, Combustion, and Molten Fury, make it a really late game powerhouse. So later on in TBC, Fire Mage really ramps up and does some incredible damage. Your tier 4 content definitely favors Arcane, but Fire dominates in like tier 5 and tier 6 later on, especially when you get that full crit gear. The AoE from Fire is absolutely insane. You have Blast Wave, you have Flame Strike, you have Dragon's Breath. You just absolutely shred trash mobs in heroic dungeons and in raids. You have excellent synergy with Shadow Priests and Elemental Shamans because you also get that mana sustain. As for PvP fire mages, again, this is another high risk, high reward playstyle. Combustion, Presence of Mind, Pyroblast give you these huge burst combos as fire, so you can do it. It's a lot of fun. It's very strong against melee because you have Dragon's Breath, which is your disorient, and Blast Wave, which is your knockback. It lacks those defensive tools though compared to Frost, but it's extremely powerful if played right. So in summary, our fire mage in PvE, it's going to be a top tier raid DPS once you're geared, right? Later on in the expansion. For PvP, it's flashy, it's aggressive, it's great for those kill setup type of comps, but you do not have the survivability as Frost, so just keep that in mind if you're going to play fire. This is going to be best for those players who love those big crits, chaos, and just the cinematic fiery explosions that come along with playing a fire mage. Next up on the list, we're going to talk about our Frost mages, right? We're going to start off with PvE DPS. Frost definitely falls behind Fire and Arcane in raw raid DPS, but it's kind of viable if it's something you really want to play. It's very strong for heroics and leveling and earlier gear phases, but you know, you don't have to worry about the mana problems that you do with Arcane and Fire. You know, it's more mana efficient, it's a safer option, and it's extremely easy to play. You have great crowd control with Frost Nova, Cone of Cold. You have Ice Barrier for your defensives, but it definitely does scale pretty poorly with late game gear. But for a casual player or someone just, you know, in an early raider type of situation, getting into the game, not in a super sweaty guild, you can play Frost in raid. For PvP though, that is where Frost definitely tends to shine, right? Frost is the iconic mage PvP spec. You have amazing control with Frost Nova, your Pet's Freeze, Counterspell, your Shatter combos for massive DPS. You have Ice Barrier, which makes you extremely tanky versus melee. You have Ice Block, which basically is a second life, gives you a reset in your fights. It's extremely strong in 2v2s, 3v3s, especially when paired with a Rogue, Priest, or Warlock. You do get that consistent burst with Ice Lance and Shatter combos. It's definitely a skill-based PvP class. It's not going to be very simple to play, but if you get decent at Frost Mage, you are going to wreak havoc in arenas and have a really good time. So what is the final verdict? Should you play Mage coming from vanilla moving into the Burning Crusade Classic? Well, Mage in TBC is the ultimate caster class. In my opinion, one of my favorite classes to play. I played the hell out of it. The Mage you guys are seeing here on the screen is my original Mage from TBC. He's another character that's just sitting as how I left him from the Burning Crusade. You know, you have Arcane for your burst DPS monster, short fights, very high skill ceiling with that mana management. Fire is your late game DPS king with all that crazy critting and explosive types of damage. And Frost is your PvP legendary caster powerhouse. This is one of the best casters to play if you're into PvP in the Burning Crusade. I highly recommend it. It's a lot of fun to master, and when you get good at it, it's very, very rewarding and satisfying to play. So you're going to play Mage if you want to be that caster DPS and possibly dabble in arenas too with Frost. I wouldn't really suggest playing Fire or Arcane Mage in PvP. If you're new to the Mage class, definitely stick to Frost, but you can dabble in any of those specs if you want. Mage is just a well-rounded, great class in the Burning Crusade. It came up a lot from vanilla, where it already was one of the god tier classes in vanilla, and especially in PvP. In the Burning Crusade, it's even better. So if you like Mage, or maybe you liked it in the past, definitely consider giving it a play. It's a lot of fun. So if this video helped you guys make a decision, drop it a like. Come follow me on kick.com/hammerdance. I stream Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern. And if you guys love Classic WoW as much as me, subscribe to the channel and turn on post notifications so you don't miss the next time I post a video. But anyways, guys, thank you all so much for watching and listening in. I'll see you all in the next one.